What's up, YouTube? Welcome to AnTalk, the weekly comic conversation. Game of Thrones is one of my all-time favorite shows. I love everything from the writing to the fighting to the acting, the characters. I love the mythos. I love the unpredictability. I just love being immersed in this world. I love the source material. Now, the HBO series, based on the Song of Ice and Fire book series written by George R.R. Martin, has never had its shortage of theories. Especially with the show having recently just concluded its 6th season, and the show also announcing the end is in sight, with only about 13 episodes or so left. How this show is going to end is still a big as mystery as ever, but that hasn't stopped fans from guessing. Well, today, I have a theory of my own. So if you have not seen through Season 6 of Game of Thrones, this is a spoiler alert. We're gonna also go into a little bit of book stuff, not too much, but yeah, just be warned, spoilers through Season 6 of Game of Thrones. Now today, my theory is based or revolves around the legendary sword Lightbringer. Now, I'm not claiming to be an originator of this theory. I'm sure it's out there somewhere, but this is something I just put together on my own, sitting watching the show. And that's why I'm actually making this video, because I don't really plan on making a bunch of theory videos. So if you're on YouTube searching for Game of Thrones theories, then I'm sure that you already know quite a bit about the prophecies and how Azor Ahai is supposed to come back and be reborn and defeat the White Walkers. So I'm not going to get into that, other than Azor Ahai being the ancient hero who put an end to the Long Night many years ago. Is it going to be Jon Snow? Is it going to be Dany? Or both? Are Azor Ahai and the prince that was promised one and the same? I'm not sure about any of this, but today I'm talking about Lightbringer, Azor Ahai's legendary flaming sword. He forged it for 100 days and even pushed it through his wife's heart. If you remember back to Season 2, when Melisandre still believed that Stannis Baratheon was Azor Ahai reborn, he thought he pulled Lightbringer from the flames, but we all know this isn't true. Now, what I want to know, could Dawn be Lightbringer? Now, I don't really have a lot to this theory, but I just want to know what you think. Dawn, another legendary sword, passed down through the generations but only wielded by who are worthy from House Dayne. Dawn's most recent owner, Sir Arthur Dayne, aka the Sword of Morning. Now again, if you're watching this video, then I probably don't need to tell you how badass Sir Arthur Dayne is, and I don't really need to tell you about how he was killed by Ned Stark at the Tower of Joy. Well, let me tell you why I think Dawn is Lightbringer. Well, we all know Lightbringer is supposed to be a sword of flames, or at least illuminate or even radiate heat. And it's a little more explained in the books, because at least we know in the show Stannis Baratheon's sword does not do any of those things, but it is believed to be Lightbringer. Now, so the sword Dawn is not made of Valyrian steel, but it has a lot of similarities and is supposed to be just as strong. Now, Dawn was forged from a fallen meteorite. Now, immediately this kind of raises a flag for me, because, and I could just be looking too deep into this, but it reminds me of the Red Comet, which is, you know, the Red Comet that flew across the sky earlier in the show. I think at the end of Season 1 or beginning of Season 2, this is what a lot of people thought was the sign starting off, you know, the prophecies. So who knows, could Dawn be forged from another fallen Red Comet from years past? And the last we know of Dawn, after the events that took place at the Tower of Joy, where Sir Arthur Dayne was killed, Ned, after he took little Jon Snow from his late sister Lyanna, he traveled south to Starfall, home of the Danes, where he returned Sir Arthur Dayne's sword Dawn to his sister, Ashara Dayne. I believe that's actually told by Catelyn in the book Game of Thrones, and I believe that's the last we hear from it in anything really. But so we're meant to believe that it's still in Starfall with the Danes, waiting to be wielded again by somebody worthy. Well, Is it so hard to believe that Ned was actually told to keep the sword? For who would think to be more worthy than the person who defeated the person who wielded it last? Now, I'm assuming that Ned, being the guy he is, would probably turn it down, especially knowing that he didn't actually kill Sir Arthur Dayne. But Ned is... We've seen the extremes he'll go through to protect Lyanna's secret with Jon Snow. Now, so I think if he was offered, he would have took this sword. So maybe he took Dawn to Winterfell. Maybe it's just waiting there in the crypts for Jon Snow to come by and pull it out lightsaber style and be the big Azor Ahai reveal. Or maybe he took it back to Winterfell and turned it into ice. And ice being Ned Stark's famous sword, thought to be made of a Valyrian steel, but if it's Dawn, then we know. But what happened to that sword is it was melted down by Tywin Lannister and then forged into Jaime's new sword and forged into Joffrey's sword. As we know, Joffrey died. I believe that sword was passed down to Tommen. Tommen died, so I believe that sword is just sitting there in King's Landing, and we all know that Jaime's sword is given to Brienne, and she has it right now, and she named it Oathkeeper. And maybe it runs into Jon Snow that way, but either way, and maybe Dany comes across the sword in King's Landing, so maybe they both get half of Dawn, or Lightbringer, if you will. My real reason for coming up with this theory is really from the directing on episode 10 season 6 specifically, and another episode prior, whatever episode had Tower of Joy, the first scene with the fight scene with Ned Stark and all his men versus Sir Arthur Dayne. The Tower of Joy scene, when Ned speaks with Lyanna, there's a shot of Ned leaning Dawn at the end of the bed. So quick, but why the emphasis on the sword? The other example I'm talking about of this is in the previous episode during the fight scene where they focus on Dawn again while Sir Arthur Dayne has it and he sticks it in the ground. Now, this could be nothing really, and again, I could be looking too far into this, but why so much emphasis and why so much focus on Dawn, his sword? You see the sun into the handle, and why would they do this unless it meant something? Maybe something to be revealed down the road. I know this seems like a small thing, and I definitely could be wrong, but I really want to know what you think. Could Dawn be Lightbringer, just waiting to cross paths with Jon Snow? What do you think? Let us know in the comments below. Could this be a real thing? What's your favorite Game of Thrones theory? If you do put something, don't forget to put a spoiler alert, and yeah, that's my theory. This is AnTalk. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to like and subscribe. See you later.